What's going on, guys? This is Ben from NolanTCG, and it is March, so that means the ban list is coming. So the ban list is due at the end of the month, so that's going to be big. We're going to get this prediction out nice and early ahead of, hopefully, before everyone starts posting them because it's March now. But now, given that it is coming, we figured that it's time to sit down and have a chat about what the ban list could look like. So I'm not personally expecting this ban list to just be absolute murder. The format isn't completely terrible right now. There is a lot of decks that you could play and do well with. This ban list is likely just going to hit stuff that is looking to be more degenerate when we hit Master Rule 5, as well as just some stuff to maybe curve Needle Fiber if it's good when it comes out. Like, it's gonna be good, but if it's like insane and makes certain decks like broken, we could start to see some of the stuff get hit because of that. And yeah, moving forward in the Master Rule 5, you can't really have like synchro spam being allowed to just be a thing. So yeah, we'll get into our ban list prediction and let's get going. But as always, before we get into it, if you are new here, please remember to hit that subscribe button. We're always happy to have new people. And let's get into the prediction. Okay, so I do believe this is going to be the ban list for the entire kind of WCQ season. So I think the next ban list is going to be no sooner than, let's say, the 6th of July. I think that kind of covers all the WCQs. I know North Americans are in June. I don't think they're going to put anything like later than this date. So I'd say this is probably when the next ban list is going to drop. This kind of like early to mid-July. Kind of gives 3 months between now and then. A little bit over 3 months. But yeah, that's kind of when I see the next ban list coming. Okay, so getting into the cards, we have the first card I see getting banned, and that is Glow Up Bulb. Glow Up Bulb kind of just needs to go once Needle Fiber becomes a thing. Like, it's going to be fun to have for 2 weeks, but it's not going to be fun after 2 weeks where it's just a 1-card Needle Fiber and then all of a sudden synchros can go anywhere and you start seeing stuff flying around the board and going insane. So yeah, Glow Up Bulb probably needs to be banned. That is going to bring us into our second card, which is Blackwing Steam the Cloak. Blackwing Steam the Cloak also needs to get banned. It's just going to help Needle Fiber become even more crazy, especially when you're going to start seeing synchros flying around all over the board. Just Steam the Cloak also needs to go. There are probably some other token generators that need to go, but these are probably the first 2 that need to go, so we might see the others disappear later, along with probably seeing Needle Fiber go to 1 at some point this year. It probably won't go on the next list, but probably will the list after. Just go to 1 and yeah. So finally we have our last card on the ban list, and that card is Master Plan. So ban Master Plan has been a thing since Spiral format back in the day. Master Plan is the card that facilitates most of the combos, but it is also the card that is very degenerate, and when it starts to steamroll can get very, very crazy. See, I do believe that Master Plan definitely needs to get banned. We might see some other changes later on the list to kind of change up Spiral a little bit, so just stay tuned for that. Okay, so next off we have Limited. I don't think a lot of stuff needs to be limited that's not going to just out and out be degenerate. We'll probably see some checks and balances to some decks on this ban list, but given that we're in a healthy format, Spiral's probably the only deck that needs to have a drastic change. Like, granted, it can't finish off events, but its representation is just too high, I guess, kind of for everything. So starting us off for our limited list is just going to be Salamangreat Balinks. So Balinks going to 1 won't hurt the deck massively, but it will kind of stop the deck from being able to keep itself alive long term, like not being able to go Balinks to Balinks when they completely brick and then at least protect themselves for a turn is important. So yeah, Balinks going to 1 I see as the hit to Salamangreat, just to kind of try and bring it down that little bit lower. So it's still playable, but not going to win a YCS. Still probably top a YCS, but not win a YCS. Okay, following that up, we have Trish going to 1. So hand looping, gonna be a thing when we move in Master Rule 5. Trish needs to go back to 1. When it went to 3, Master Rule 5 probably wasn't being thought of. Like, it probably was, but they didn't have a full-fledged idea of what it was going to be. So Trish needs to go back to 1 now. Like, if it's at 3 when we move into Master Rule 5, enjoy when you show up to locals and there's that one guy that's just going to be like, oh, you didn't draw Call by the Grave or Hand Traps, or they drew Call by the Grave, sorry, and you just play with 0 cards and it's going to be very fun. Okay, so following that up, we have another card that needs to go to 1 simply because of Master Rule 5, and that's TG Hyper Librarian. Synchro spam with a drawing a lot of cards could become a problem. So yeah, TG Hyper Librarian just needs to go to 1 just to kind of curve everything a little bit. And finally, we're going to go with a card coming off the ban list. We weren't 100% sure on what card to go with coming off the ban list, so ultimately we've gone with Double Iris Magician. Given that Pendulums don't get a lot of support moving forward, like they've lost their Electromite, they may get some cards to play with in Dual Devastator, or Dual Overload, sorry. Yeah, they need to have another card probably come back just to 1, just to kind of let the deck play a little bit. Giving them Double Iris will give them access to their Pendulum Graphs, so at least they can pivot back to playing that style of deck. It's like not going to be horrendous to play against, but yeah, they just kind of need something just to make them a little bit more competitive at the moment. Okay, so now we're moving into our semi-limits. So I know Konami doesn't really like to do semi-limits anymore, but for this list, we're probably maybe we'll see Alistair go to 2. Not this. Alistair going to 2 will kind of sort of slow down the invoked package in Master Rule 5, as well as kind of just check Shaddoll invoked just that little bit, given it is the second highest represented deck. It doesn't need to be murdered like they've just printed the starter deck. They need to sell the starter decks. Granted, most places are sold out of the starter decks, but like they need to let people play with their decks for a little bit. So Alistair going to 2, I probably don't see them going as hard as putting it to 1, just to 2. Okay, and finally we have our cards coming off the ban list. So again, not 100% sure what's going to come off the ban list, given that like a lot of stuff went on the ban list. Probably first card is going to be Deep Sea Diva going to 3. Given though that they've just put Deep Sea Diva to 2, it's not doing anything, but its support hasn't come out yet. So with it being at 2, they may just keep it there just to see how it goes with the support, and then if the support doesn't really do anything, maybe put it to 3. Yeah, but at the moment, Deep Sea Diva at 2 isn't doing anything. It can probably go to 3 at the moment, and then just kind of see how it goes, and if it needs to go back to 2 or to 1, they can put it back to 2 or 1. But yeah, at the moment, it can go to 3. They probably won't do it, but it's here anyway. Okay, and finally, given that we are going to be banning Master Plan, you could, just to kind of not murder Spiral, put Spiral Resort back to 3. The reason it was at 1 anyway was because Master Plan being able to search it, Master Plan had to search it every time it searched. So like once it had been searched once, they couldn't just keep searching resorts. So yeah, Resort can come back to 3, gives the deck more consistency, but also like Master Plan's banned, so they're not going to like loop you and make big boards. They're just going to kind of do a basic Spiral thing, maybe end on Sleeper. But yeah, you're not going to have to be super concerned with playing through like Trigate and Appaloosa. Okay, and that'll do us for our ban list prediction for this month. Remember, please do comment down below if you do think we missed anything. Hell, just comment your whole ban list prediction down there if you want to. And yeah, as always, I have said it earlier, but please do remember to hit that subscribe button if you are new here. We are always happy to have new people. We're on the journey to 1,000 subs and get that money. But finally, as always, this has been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon, everybody.